A single black father had just lost his job and was struggling to keep up with overdue bills and the daily needs of his two young kids, but he never let hardship take away the gentleness in his heart. So when he saw an elderly woman and a little boy lost, terrified and trembling in the middle of a violent storm outside his home, he didn't hesitate to bring them inside. He offered them a steaming bowl of soup, a safe place to stay, and the kind of tender care. What he didn't know was that this simple act of kindness would become the spark that set off a chain of events that would change his family's life forever. Before we dive in, where are you from? Drop a comment below and tell me, and don't forget to hype and subscribe for more heartwarming stories every day. The lamp above Elias Turner's workbench had been flickering for 3 days straight. He kept meaning to replace the bulb, but replacement bulbs cost money, and money was something that slipped through his fingers faster than sawdust. He squinted at the wooden reindeer taking shape under his hands. The neck was too thick. He'd have to sand it down, which meant another 20 minutes he didn't have. 3 orders due by midnight. $87 total if he finished them all. Rent was $460, and that was the final notice sitting on the kitchen counter, the one printed in red ink like blood. His phone buzzed. He ignored it. Probably another bill, or maybe Mrs. Chen from downstairs asking when he'd fix the leak in her ceiling, the leak that was technically the landlord's problem but somehow always became his. Daddy? Elias turned. Luna stood in the workshop doorway, her pink pajamas faded to almost white from too many washes. They'd been Mira's first, handed down when Luna turned 6. Now Luna was 8, and they still fit because she wasn't growing the way she should. Not enough food, not enough of anything. Baby, what are you doing up? It's almost 11. Mira's crying. He set down the reindeer, sawdust falling from his hands like snow. Bad dream. Luna nodded. Behind her, Mira appeared, 5 years old with eyes too big for her face. She was holding Mr. Buttons, the stuffed rabbit that had lost an ear 2 Christmases ago. Elias knelt down, and Mira ran to him, burying her face in his shoulder. Her small body was shaking. Hey, what's wrong, sweetheart? You weren't there. Her voice was muffled against his shirt. You went away and didn't come back. Something sharp twisted in his chest. He pulled both girls close, Luna's thin arms wrapping around his neck, Mira's tears soaking through the fabric. I'm right here, I'm not going anywhere. But in the dream, dreams are just dreams. They're not real. I'm real. Feel. He took Mira's small hand and placed it over his heart. Real, right here, always. Promise? I promise. He carried Mira back to the bedroom they shared, Luna trailing behind like a guardian. The room was cold. The heater had been making that grinding noise for weeks, putting out barely enough warmth to matter. He'd called the landlord 4 times. The landlord had stopped answering. Elias tucked them in with every blanket in the house, 3 total, threadbare and patched. He pulled them up to their chins, smoothed Mira's hair back from her forehead. Love you, Daddy, Luna whispered. Love you more, love you most, Mira added, her voice already drowsy. Love you to the moon and back and all the way around again. It was their ritual, the one constant in a life that kept shifting under their feet like sand. He waited until their breathing evened out, until he was sure they were asleep. Then he stood in the doorway for a long moment, just watching them. 2 little girls who deserved so much more than this drafty room, this dying heater, this father who worked 18 hours a day and still couldn't keep them warm. Back in the workshop, he picked up the reindeer again. His hands knew what to do even when his mind was elsewhere. Sand here. Carve there. Smooth the edges until they felt right under his fingertips. Clayridge Timberworks had been good work. Steady, benefits, a paycheck that actually covered rent and groceries and maybe even a little extra for birthdays. He'd been there 7 years when the plant closed. Some problem with tariffs and import costs and profit margins. The owner had stood in front of them all, 200 workers, and explained it like they were supposed to understand. Like understanding would pay their bills. Elias had tried to explain it to Luna. She'd asked why he didn't just go back to work, and he'd sat her down at the kitchen table, the wobbly one with 3 legs that worked and one that didn't, and tried to make sense of it. Sometimes things change, baby. Sometimes places close down, and there's nothing we can do about it. But you worked really hard. I did. So why can't you go back? Because it's not there anymore. The building's still there, but the work isn't. Does that make sense? It hadn't. Not to Luna, not really. Maybe not to him either. So he'd started the Etsy shop, Turner Craft, hand-carved wooden toys and decorations. He'd always been good with his hands, had learned woodworking from his grandfather back when things were simpler. Back when he had a wife and a future that looked like something. Sarah had left when Mira was 2. Postpartum depression that never got better, she'd said. Couldn't handle it, couldn't handle being a mother, couldn't handle him. I'm drowning, she told him, crying in their bathroom while the girls slept. I can't breathe. I can't, I have to go. We'll get help, we'll figure it out. I don't want to figure it out, I want to leave. And she had. 3 years ago now. Birthday cards came sometimes, with $20 bills inside and no return address. The girls asked about her less and less. Luna remembered her a little. Mira not at all. Elias was mother and father both now. Cook and cleaner, and breadwinner, and comforter. He did bedtimes and homework, and doctor's appointments when he could afford them. He braided hair and wiped tears and made up stories about brave princesses who saved themselves. And he was so tired. The rain started around 11:15, just a whisper at first, gentle against the windows, then harder, then a roar that drowned out everything else. Elias looked up from the reindeer. His little display table was still outside on the porch, the card table where he set out his best pieces during the day, hoping someone walking by might stop and look. Maybe buy something. He'd made 3 sales this week, $32 total. He set down his tools and went to the front door. The rain was coming down in sheets now, the kind that soaked you to the bone in seconds. His display was getting drenched. The wooden stars he'd spent hours on, the Christmas ornaments painted in red and green, the little nativity scene that had taken him 3 days. He ran out without thinking, grabbing what he could, rain hammering against his back. The ornaments were slick in his hands. The stars were already warping from the water, ruined. Hours of work ruined. Damn it, he made 3 trips, carrying everything inside, stacking it in the hallway. He'd have to sand them all down, start over. More time he didn't have. He was reaching for the last piece, a carved angel, when he saw them. 2 shapes stumbling up the street, barely visible through the rain, one tall, hunched over, one small, moving erratically. The small shape was screaming. Elias froze, water running into his eyes. The shapes came closer, and he could see them clearly now. An old woman, clutching a broken umbrella that had turned inside out. A small boy, maybe 5 or 6, his mouth open in a wail that cut through the storm. Please, somebody help us. The woman was moving strangely, her steps uncertain. She kept stopping, looking around like she didn't know where she was. The boy was trying to pull her forward, his small hands gripping her arm. Please, my grandma needs help. Elias didn't think, he ran. The rain hit him like a wall, cold and brutal. He reached them in seconds, his hands immediately going to the woman's shoulders to steady her. Ma'am, are you okay? She looked at him but her eyes were empty, unfocused. Her lips were moving but no sound came out. She was shaking violently, whether from cold or fear or something else, he couldn't tell. The boy grabbed Elias's arm with both hands. She doesn't know where we are. She doesn't remember anything. She was fine, and then she just, please mister, please help us. The woman's voice suddenly cut through. The letters, I need to check the letters. James is waiting for the letters. Where's the red mailbox? Where did it go? Grandma, there's no mailbox. Grandma, please. Elias looked at the woman's face, saw the confusion there, the panic swimming just below the surface, saw the boy's terrified expression, rain and tears mixing on his cheeks. He looked back at his house, small, shabby, barely holding together, full of his own problems, his own struggles. He made a choice. Come on, both of you, let's get you inside. Getting them into the house was harder than it should have been. The woman Nora, the boy kept calling her, didn't want to move. She kept trying to turn around, kept mumbling about the red mailbox and someone named James and letters that needed to be checked. Ma'am, you need to get out of the rain, you're soaking wet, you're going to get sick. The letters are important, James said. James said, I need to check them every day. The boy was crying so hard he could barely speak. Grandma, please just go inside, please. Elias got his arms under Nora's shoulders, supporting most of her weight. She was lighter than he expected, frail under the wet coat. He half carried, half guided her up the steps and through the door. Inside, the warmth of the house, what little there was, hit them. Nora was shivering uncontrollably. The boy wasn't much better. Okay, let me. Luna appeared from the hallway. eyes wide. Daddy? What's Luna? Baby, I need you to get me every towel we have, and the blankets from my bed. Can you do that? She nodded and ran. Mira was behind her, peeking around the corner, Mr. Buttons clutched to her chest. Elias got Nora onto the couch. She sat but immediately tried to stand again. I have to go. The mailbox. I have to. Ma'am, you can't go back out there. The storm's too bad. Just sit for a minute. Let me help you. I don't know you. Her voice was rising, panic creeping in. I don't know this place. Where am I? Where am I? The boy threw himself at her. Grandma, it's okay. This man is helping us. It's okay. Luna came back with an armful of towels. Mira followed with blankets, moving carefully like she was carrying something precious. Elias wrapped a towel around Nora's shoulders, then grabbed another for the boy. What's your name, buddy? Theo. Theo. Good name. I'm Elias. This is Luna and Mira. You're safe here, okay? Both of you. Theo's face crumpled. She doesn't remember. She doesn't. We were just walking, and then she got confused and I didn't know what to do, and you did exactly the right thing. You found help. That's perfect. But what if she doesn't come back? Elias knelt down in front of the boy. Has this happened before? Theo shook his head. She gets confused sometimes, little things, but not like this, not this bad. Elias looked at Nora. She was staring at the wall, her lips still moving, her hands plucking at the blanket. He'd seen this before. Old Mr. Henderson next door 3 years ago. The way his mind had started to slip, bit by bit, until one day he didn't know his own name. Alzheimer's, his daughter had said. Like a thief stealing pieces of him until nothing was left. Theo, where do you live? Where are your parents? My mom's on a work trip. She's in Boston. Dad's dad doesn't live with us. It's just me and Grandma and Mom. Does your mom know you're out? Fresh tears. She's going to be so mad. We were just. Grandma wanted to see her old neighborhood. The house where she grew up. It's not far. But then Grandma got confused and I tried to help her. But it's okay. It's not your fault. Elias put a hand on the boy's shoulder. What's your mom's number? I don't know. It's in Grandma's phone. Where's her phone? I don't know. We lost it. Or maybe she left it. I don't remember. Nora suddenly spoke up, her voice sharp. Who are you people? What am I doing here? Luna stepped forward slowly, holding out a glass of water. Would you like some water, ma'am? Nora looked at her, and something in her face softened. You're a pretty little girl. Do I know you? I'm Luna. This is my house. Well, my daddy's house. Your daddy. Nora looked at Elias. Are you her daddy? Yes, ma'am. That's nice. That's very nice. A girl should have her daddy. Her eyes went distant again. Where's my boy? Where's Caleb? He's supposed to pick me up. Theo's voice broke. We can't call him. I don't know his number either. Elias stood up. Okay, first things first. You're both soaking wet and freezing. Let me get you some dry clothes, something warm to eat, then we'll figure out